I got a call for a movie, and he goes, oh, we added a stunt. You're gonna be dropping down an 80-foot elevator shaft. And the fear was boiling my blood. I get to the hole and I look down, and they said, okay, camera set, and 3, 2, 1. I didn't know if I was going to make it in Hollywood. I trained 7 days a week for 5 years. I had to find everything inside of me to keep going. I couldn't just walk off a $400 billion film and say, you know what, I can't do it anymore. Have any of you felt that way, where you just wanted to quit and you had it, you were done? Ride that wire. Enjoy the ride, no matter what the outcome's going to be. Our thoughts tend to talk us out of taking chances, of your dreams, of your goals, because your thoughts want to keep you safe. But we have to go somewhere to get somewhere. So I go and I'm like, you know what, let's just do it. I step on and I jump in, I buckle up and I wet knuckle it, and then the 2 guys jump in behind me and the helicopter goes, whoop, and I'm like, holy smokes, we're gonna die at this moment. All right, God, I'll see you soon. Taking those chances is needed in order to achieve what you want. It all starts with your thoughts. It was the best feeling to be able to say, I did it, instead of letting fear beat me. I did it. Those 3 words are the best 3 words you can ever feel. Hello? Let's see, I gotta figure out how to take this off. Before punching myself in the face. Got it. Yes, I'm a stunt woman. I jump off buildings. I get lit on fire. I throw myself downstairs. I fight the good guys. I fight the bad guys. And I hit the ground over and over and over again. All for your entertainment. You're welcome. Woo. Yeah, you're welcome. I look at these stairs and I think, okay, maybe I will fall down them. They're not too sharp. It's the mind of a stunt woman. It's 2022, and the knowledge that we create our own reality is talked about more now than when I was a kid. What we think about, we bring about. What we believe, we achieve. The law of attraction. Who here has heard those terms before? Those sayings? Okay, see, yeah, it's becoming more and more a thing, which is so exciting. Who here is an Avengers fan? Okay, yes, I like all those hands. Okay, on the count of 3, I want you to scream out your favorite superhero from the Avengers movies. You got it? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Nebula!
Okay, those are all really good. Who said Nebula? Did anybody see Nebula? Okay. Oh, yes, who in the back? That's Nebula, for those that don't remember her in the Avengers movie. That's me. I also got to double Captain Marvel. This was the moment in my life where I felt so cool. I remember working on Avengers Infinity War, and I'm standing in a trench with Robert Downey Jr. We're holding hands. And every single Avengers cast is with me. Well, I'm with them. We've got Black Panther, we've got Iron Man, we've got Ant-Man, we've got Drax. You name it, they were there. Captain America, Star-Lord. And I remember looking around and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I created this moment. I created this experience from thoughts and the belief about myself when I was dreaming. Who here has a dream? We've got dreams, right? Dreams, I tell you what, they come true. That's not where my story begins. My story begins when I was 6 years old. I had a golf club go through my head. And when I got stitched up, the doctor said it didn't affect her brain. So off I went. I went to first grade twice. And I remember when I was in third grade, we were taking a test and I was looking around and everybody was scribbling their answers. And I was like, oh my gosh, when did we learn this in school? I had no idea. It was foreign to me. And that was the moment I labeled myself as dumb. And the years went by and I knew I wasn't gonna make it through school because I labeled myself as dumb. Everybody was smart but me. And my senior year came around and everybody was getting ready for the SATs and figuring out what college they wanted to go to. But I knew I was going to fail. And so I didn't even attempt to go. Has anybody not done anything because they knew they were gonna fail? Yeah, human nature. Because our thoughts are meant to protect ourselves, right? And so we don't even try. So I didn't go to college. All I wanted to do was play soccer because that's the one thing I knew I was good at. And so after high school, I moved to San Diego where my mom was living, and I joined a world traveling soccer team. And our first stop was in Spain. And those girls were so intimidating. We played the women's professional team. So they were so intimidating, they were big, they were strong, and they were professional, and we were just there for fun. It was an experience of a lifetime. And it also was the moment that changed the rest of my life. I went to go head the ball in the goal, and the goalie's fist went up, and I saw it was like slow motion, and it hit the back of my head, and down I went. Anybody play soccer here? So you know that we're constantly getting the hit in the head. We're constantly seeing stars. We're constantly getting concussions, but it's part of the game. When I went back after we played our games in Spain, I realized I couldn't lay back because my head would throb. And I was getting really, 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 really bad headaches. I became angry. But I also became really sad. I'd wake up in the morning crying, not knowing why I was crying. And if I could get myself together enough to make it to the bathroom so I can cry some more, and I don't know why I was so sad. And I remember sitting on the bathroom floor. The bathroom floor was cold. And screaming at God, God, why am I even alive? I'm just taking up space. Please take me. I have no purpose. I'm dumb. I'm not gonna get a job. I was lost. And from that moment, I realized I wanted to die. I did not want to be here anymore. I would visualize getting into a car accident or something where it would save me from having to make that decision myself of how. My mom noticed something was wrong with me. It wasn't the same person that she knew. And so she thought, you know what, you need to get a brain scan. Let's see what's going on. There's gotta be something wrong with you. And I took her up on it. I went to go get a brain scan. I went to a place in San Diego called Dr. Amon's Clinic. And when he put the 2 scans of my brain up on there, it looked like Humpty Dumpty fell off that wall. And Humpty Dumpty needed to get fixed. I had a big old crack in the back of my head. And I had a hole in my brain. And on top of all of that, I had ADHD. So all those things combined, yes, school was very difficult for me. But I also didn't have any self-esteem. I was insecure. From moving around a lot, I didn't have a stable group of friends. The Dr. Amon said, you have 2 choices. You have 2 choices. You can either take medication the rest of your life, or you can eat these foods, you can take these vitamins, and you can meditate 20 minutes a day, and your brain will start to heal itself after 1 year. And growing up in a holistic household, that was the option we chose. So I was on a mission to heal the crack in my skull, the hole in my brain, and to get my brain moving again. My parents owned a yoga studio. My mom and my stepdad owned a yoga studio in San Diego. And that following weekend, a Qigong master was coming into town to teach Qigong. Has anybody heard of Qigong? 1 person? Okay. Well, Qigong isn't talked about as much as what you, the law of attraction. And that's okay. Maybe one day. The Qigong master from China heard my story, and he said, send her to China with me next week. I'll have her healed in 30 days. So what every loving, protective mother would do is she would send their child to China with a complete Qigong stranger. And so off I went. Off I went. You know, it's kind of an oxymoron now saying that I'm going to go to China to heal after COVID. So I'm in China. I remember stepping off that plane, and the smell of the air is so thick of smoke. And we're on a bus driving 8 hours north, almost to the Tibetan border. And I'll explain what Qigong is. Qigong is, it's a moving meditation, but it's through realization, it's through intention, and it's through visualization. And the idea is you're standing in a horse stance, for those that know martial arts, and your hands are just moving slowly as you visualize your energy body. Has anybody heard of an aura in here? Yeah. So what Qigong is you're using your aura, your energy field, to heal yourself. Who here has seen Doctor Strange? Okay. Yes, when that movie came out, I thought, oh my God, they made the movie of my life. That is how China went. That's exactly how China went. We would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the rooftop of a monastery or a hotel, wherever we were. We changed locations every couple days. We'd get up so early, and the towns were so small, I could smell the slaughter of the cows and the pigs for the town that day. We would be standing on the rooftop and doing our Qigong for 15, 16 hours a day. When we would drive to other monasteries through the countryside, we'd stop on the side of the road and practice doing our Qigong without any distractions. I tell you, it was like Doctor Strange. Dr. Strange, Shauna Strange, I don't know, but that's what it was. Tesla says, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, you think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What are our bodies made up of? Water, Cells. And what are our cells made up of? Atoms. You know, I didn't know that until recently. It's because I didn't pay attention in school or couldn't. You too? Yeah, you know what, sometimes it's hard. But there's something that's so much bigger for you and for everybody else. So much bigger. But what's made up of atoms? Nothing but energy. Now think of if our atoms are made up of energy in our body, and we're using our aura, our energy body, to heal itself, and the frequency of our thoughts and our intentions, they're leaving our body and they're coming right back the same way. So that's a little bit of how Qigong worked. I came back from China 30 days later, completely healed. I healed my brain with my mind. I healed my brain with my mind. For the first time in my entire life, I read a book from cover to cover. And I wanted to share with the world that we all are so powerful. We're so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. And I wanted to be able to teach that. And I thought, okay, and I'm in my early 20s. This is 17 years ago. And I thought, okay, how can I tell the world that you can heal yourself through the power of your mind, through your thoughts, that we're just made up of energy and frequency? Well, I thought, you know what, maybe I'll become an EMT. And maybe I'll work in the ER and I'll work on the ambulance, and secretly I can tell the patients that you can heal your own body through your mind and through your thoughts. Yeah, that was kind of naive. But I was so passionate about it. So then I thought, well, maybe if that doesn't work, I'll become an EMT or a massage therapist, and I can heal people through my hands, and then I don't have to sound crazy talk. Which I tell you what, when I did work on the ambulance, and I was in the back of the ambulance, and I had a patient, she was in so much pain. And I said, you do realize you can heal yourself through your thoughts, right? This is the early 2000s. She looked at me, and I was like, well, maybe this isn't the place for me. One thing I realize is that we all have a purpose. And we might not step into our purpose right away, but each step will get us closer to what we visualize we know we could do. One of my people that I look up to that motivate me is Oprah, and she says there's a great big world out there that you are ready for, that each person is ready for. We spend so much time thinking of somebody else's life, but there is nothing more powerful than you using your personality to fulfill the calling of your soul. There's nothing more powerful than you using your personality to fulfill the calling of your soul. Thoughts create. Our feelings create how we feel, and our feelings create how we think. But we're in control of all of that. I'll tell you an Avengers story. When I was Nebula's character, there's a scene, hit it, where Drax gets thrown by Thanos, and all three of us, there's Star-Lord, me and Nebula, as Nebula, and the Drax, we get thrown back. No, it doesn't look like much when you're watching it. This is rehearsals. They take the padding away. But we ended up doing it 13 times to rocks. And by the 7th take, I started putting my elbows back to protect my body, because hitting those rocks time after time after time, it really hurts. And there's a joke in stunts, if you put your elbows back, you're fired. Well, my body was giving up. Every time I put my elbows back, I got whiplash. By the 13th take, I went paralyzed. I couldn't feel my body. And I was pissed. My thoughts were negative. I just wanted to punch everybody I saw. I was like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. So somebody came up to me and they saw that I couldn't move, and I still had another stunt to do after this. And he came over to me and he was rubbing my body, trying to get me to stand up, because as a stunt person, you can't say you're injured. Otherwise, you're known as weak, and then they're not gonna hire you again, because as a stunt person, you gotta be strong, which is super messed up, by the way. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say you're in pain, but not when you're shooting Avengers. So I walk back to my trailer and I'm pissed. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I wanted to walk off a $400 million movie because I was pissed, because my thoughts were circulating that I was hurt and I couldn't go on anymore. And before I could leave, they came back and got me in my trailer and they said, you're up. And so I'm standing in front of Thanos, and Thanos backhands me and I go flying back. And how we go flying back is we're attached to a wire which is attached to a machine. And we've got a harness underneath our costume that's attached to the wire that you can't see, so it's super tight. And when it's time for us to fly, they push that button and we go flying back. And sometimes it's really fast and sometimes it's not so hard, depending on, the machine. And the first take, I was so angry, and it hurt so bad, and I knew I have a child at home. I wanted to be able to walk the rest of my life. That's where I was at. And so after the first take, and I go flying back, and it hurts, I'm pissed, going back to my one in front of Thanos, and the stunt coordinator comes up to me, and usually when the stunt coordinator comes up to you between takes, he goes, suck less, which isn't very motivating. Suck less next time. Cool, thanks. But instead, he came up with a burrito in his hand, and he's got a long beard, and he's just chewing. He's like, you're doing great, Shauna. You're doing great. Just ride the wire. Just let it go. Have fun. And all of a sudden, the feeling that he let me feel because of his positive words and that one bit of hope that I needed to pull through, all of a sudden my thoughts stopped. And everything I learned in China was like, oh my God, it came flooding back. And I thought, all I have to do is change my thoughts. That's right. Okay, let's visualize this. I closed my eyes. I visualized myself flying backwards so perfectly and landing softly and getting up and walking away. And I was breathing. And so I'm on my one. I'm ready, my eyes are closed, I'm relaxed, my thoughts are more positive this time, and I'm ready for it. And I just surrender. And I just let go and not trying to control the outcome. And when I counted down 3, 2, 1, I opened my eyes, and all of a sudden it was like slow motion. My arms and my hands go up, and I'm just flying back, and Thanos is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then I land. And the landing was so soft, I didn't even feel it. Thoughts create. How we feel creates our thoughts. And we're so in control of our thoughts, which then creates how we feel. I didn't get where I am because life was easy. I got where I am because life was hard. I want you to ask yourself right now, what happens if you surrender in this moment, in the crisis that is going on, or a traumatic experience? What happens if we just step back for a moment, let it flow instead of force, and accept where you are right now? Because where you are right now is so perfect. It's exactly where you need to be. Researchers say if you can stay in gratitude 17 seconds, for just 17 seconds, you can literally change your vibration. Rumi says, the wound is where the light enters. We all have wounds, some bigger than others. But if we change our perspective to know that's where we're going to be loved the most, and that's going to create where we're going. It's happening for us, not to us. I get emotional thinking how my younger self wanted to hurt me, how my younger self was going to take away all of this. Because I couldn't see there was hope. I couldn't see that I had a purpose. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. Has anyone seen The Secret? Okay, a couple people. All right, The Secret's out on Netflix, I think, or Prime, I don't know where. But when it came out 15, 16, 17 years ago, I watched it and I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed. They say, there's a guy that said, I think it was Dr. Dwyer. He said, change your thoughts, change your life. And I thought, what? Is that easy? Just change your thoughts and your life changes? Okay, I'm in. And I would think, all right, God, change my thoughts. How can we do this? And I would focus on one thing, and I didn't give it up. Another guy in the Secret said, I wanted checks to come in the mail every single day. And after a couple of years, he went through some life lessons and things happened. But then all of a sudden, he realized he was getting checks in the mail every day. And I was like, what? That's so cool. I want checks in the mail every day. How can I do that? How can I get checks in the mail every day? So every day, I'd go to the mail, and I'd pull out a stack of bills. But instead of thinking they were bills, I would just say, thank you, universe, for all these checks. And I'd go through them, and I'm like, oh man, look at all these checks. These are awesome. A couple of years would go by, I think probably about a year and a half went by of every day doing this and practicing it. When I got into stunts, the first year I worked 3 or 4 jobs. And then the following year, I went to my mailbox and I pulled out what I thought were bills. I was going through them, I was like, wait a second. Somebody wrote me a check by accident. They probably meant the other Shauna. And after going through 3, 4, 5 checks, I realized I got residuals from the TV shows. And for 14 years now, I've been getting checks in the mail every single day. But what I forgot to do was I forgot to tell the universe what those checks were going to be worth every single day that came in. But I never gave up that vision, and I didn't even know I was going to be a stunt person. But everything unfolded. I just had one end goal, and the universe took care of the rest. I remember when I was an EMT, and it was the graveyard shift, and it was 3 in the morning, and I finally had my chance to talk to an ER doctor and tell him my China story, how I healed my brain with my mind, with my aura. And I remember telling him my story, and by the end of the story, he gets up, pushes his chair, and turns his back, and he goes, yeah, right. That didn't happen. And I thought, oh man, well, maybe it didn't happen. And I was crushed. That fire that was lighting everything up inside of me was blown out. Has that ever happened to you guys? Where you feel so passionate about something and all of a sudden it's just taken away from you in that very moment because someone thinks they know more than you? Yeah. But here's the thing. It just wasn't the time yet. I had things to learn before I got to share my story. And 15 years later, I got an opportunity to share it on stage. Crazy things happen and you never know how it's going to unfold. One of the things I I love, a lot of people don't love it, I love the term fake it till you make it. Because when I got into stunts, I thought, oh man, I really want to be that stunt person that has 100 credits on their IMDb page. And I would notice what they would wear, where they would go eat, what kind of car they would drive, and so I'd visualize myself being in that. I want everybody to close your eyes right now. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to see, what's the first, who do you see yourself in the best version of you as an adult? Who do you see yourself fulfilling everything that you desire? Your dream job. What are you wearing? What kind of car are you driving? Are you married? Do you have kids? Where are you living? What kind of restaurants do you go to? What is that future self doing in your best life? I want you to hold on to that visualization, because that visualization is going to live with you for every single day until it happens, because it will. Nothing was achieved by giving up. I didn't get here because things were easy. I got here because things were really hard and I didn't give up. It's that vision that you just saw. And when something goes in a way that you didn't expect it to go, failure is only there to redirect you into where you're meant to be. It's trusting and surrendering to that process. Because your time will come, and it's going to be magical. Thank you guys so much.